Welcome. It's the tech freelancer, Carl Moore Jr. Man, I've been talking about this guy for a couple weeks now. I finally got a hold of him, and we finally gonna do the thing. This is the first interview for the Tech Freelancer podcast and YouTube. Man, it's not. I don't know what to say about this guy. I've been knowing him for almost 16, 17 years. We worked together. I think longer than that, but we worked together. Once we were working together in the cable industry. And one thing about the cable industry, you learn real quick, real fast. And we were the only, I would say, only company that actually was doing door to door sales at the time. And me and this guy linked up when we first met each other. I think we were cracking jokes on somebody, and that's how we linked up. But we would thick and thin. When it was raining, we were out there. If we met a customer, we were, working with this customer, trying to get the customer cable as best we can. If not, free 99. But, that's if they were giving us food or something like that on the side to, help us out, because it was days that, man, we slept in the car. It's a lot of things we did. But what drawed me to this guy was he wasn't like me. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like, it was somebody that was different, but he was the same. I even brought him over to my parents' house, ate dinner, broke bread with him. My son knew him. But this guy, he called me up a couple years ago and was like, hey, man, I know you've been doing videos, the music videos and the real estate videos, and I want to learn off of you. And I gave him some pointers. We were calling back and forth, trying to help him out as he can, best that I could do for him. But he took it and ran with it. And some of the stuff that he's doing is shocking me to this day. Now, I like to bring up this what I want to say, man. I'm just so excited for him. And I can't wait for you guys to meet him. But here we go. My main man, Chapo.
What's up? What's up, Carl?
Man, doing good. I'm glad you're here. Now, one thing people don't know, I know you got your hat on. This is what drawed me to this guy. He had markings in his head. And I was like, what is that? And I'm like, and he had an accent, but it was like a Boston type accent, but he's from the Cincinnati area. But I'm gonna let him tell his story. But Chapo, let's start
Yeah.
off. Where are you
Okay.
originally from?
I'm originally from Togo, West Africa. Look, man, you can already see how dark I am. I had to use extra bright lights to be able to see me. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm originally from Togo, West Africa. I came to America when I was 5 years old. Man, just have moved all around the country, man.
Why'd you now that I didn't know. I thought you were always from the Cincinnati area and then moved, because I know you were at Louisville,
Yep,
going to
yep.
school. But tell me that journey. How did that how was that journey?
So the journey starts back in Togo, West Africa, right? So my biological father actually passed. He passed when I was 2 years old, and so my mom met my stepdad. My stepdad was actually in Peace Corps over in Togo at that time, and this is really interesting story. My mom made local beer for our market. So every like village around us had like a market day. Like Monday was this market day, Tuesday was this market day. Well, Bassar, where I'm from, Saturday is our market day, right? And my mom made local beer that she would make, sell at that market. And my stepdad said she made the best beer, and that's what drew him to her. And so like a relationship built up from there with them. And long story short, I came to America when I was 5. Tucson, Arizona, man. Tucson, Arizona is actually where I landed. Yeah, didn't speak any English. The next day I rolled into kindergarten, bro. I had like I was just dropped in. I was threw into the sharks, just kind of like the cable business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Just like with all marriages. I'm gonna make a joke here. All marriages, you know what I'm saying? Once you get married, they stop doing that one thing you love. Yeah, right, right. So she doesn't make it anymore, man. Yeah. Uh, yeah. 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 For sure. Yeah. It's crazy. Let's see. I think it was sophomore year in high school, right? I was walking through the hallway, and there was this one white dude, man, that was just like rapping like Outcast, you know what I'm saying? Just flipping the words, and I was like, "Yo!" I was like, "Hey, man, that's dope. Like, what song is that?" And he was like, "Oh, that's me." And I'm telling you, this white dude was killing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I played soccer also. He was on the soccer team.
Okay.
So we started hanging out outside of soccer, and that's where my rap career really started blossoming. And I say rap career very loosely, right?
Right. Right.
Because I made no goddamn money rapping, right?
Right.
So I rapped, and then it led to me being like, "Hey man, I want to shoot a music video."
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't afford it. I couldn't pay someone to shoot a music video, so I started learning how to shoot my own videos.
Right.
And just like every intro videographer, I got a Canon Rebel T3i. You
Right.
know?
Like everybody. That's what everybody starts out with. And then hope it don't burn out,
Yeah.
Like, oh man, we gotta let the camera cool down, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and that's when not, we kind of drawed into each other because he was like, you had this camera, you were doing the music thing, we were working the
Yeah.
cable, we sitting in the
Yeah.
car,
Yeah,
hot
man.
nights, you know.
Yeah.
We now people, we even talked about trying to make a movie about this cable. Well, I did.
We
Chopper
gotta
was
talk
more
about
like, I don't know, we might get in trouble for
yeah.
that one.
We gotta let them know a little bit about what door to door cable sales is like. We
All right,
have to let them know.
let's start it off.
All
You
right,
you broke as hell. You got
bro.
$5 in the gas tank.
Yup, yup.
You got to meet up at the office at 9 o'clock in the morning.
30 miles away.
30 miles away, all the way on the outside of Louisville, Kentucky. You get there, you got a crazy old little white man. His name was Greg. You, you had a Vietnam Special Forces nutso.
Yes, yes.
You had another dude named I forgot the other two guys, but they were hyper. But it
Yep.
was all about sales. If you didn't know how to sell, you knew how to sell working with these guys. Now to this
Yes.
day, I don't like sales,
Me neither.
but
Me neither.
they taught you how to do sales. But the thing is, they'll give you a sheet, and they give you a sheet, and your partner, which me and Chapo were always partner, even though we were not on the same team. Because when you first
No.
start, they put you on the same team.
Yeah.
Then once you get away from the teams, they put you on different teams with different managers. But the
Yeah.
first time we went out, they sent us to Glasgow, Kentucky. Now, if you ever been to Glasgow, Kentucky, there's nothing out there but fields. And we kind of felt it was me, Chapo, and this chick. I'm gonna just say this chick. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all that needs to be said.
That's all I'm gonna say. This chick. But what taught you how to sell was you're out here in this field and you seeing these people that have no shoes, no lights, no running water. They're living in
Oh man.
mobile homes, shacks. I mean, literally, you're like, what in the world's going on?
Yeah.
But they send you out there, and I think they did, Chapo. I think they did that to get either your confidence up or learn how to sell.
Yeah, I think it was to weed out the people. They
That
wanted to
too.
see who they wanted to see who was gonna rise to the top. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went out there, and luckily enough, we all three of us got sales. Don't ask me how we got them,
No
but
idea.
when you going across the street and you see a snake pass you, you know you're in the country. That's all I'm saying. You know you're in the country.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what made us stand out was I remember, and to this day I still remember the little old lady we met that had that one
Oh,
home and we sold cable to,
yes. We
knowing
spent a
good as
minute there.
well she didn't have no lights,
No
no
lights,
water,
no water.
nothing. But that
But
made
one of
us
that case.
that made us stronger, but in the same aspect made us think like, man, it's more than this. And we sat in the
Yeah,
car
yeah.
for hours thinking about and praying about this because it was like, man, I don't know if I can really do this because it was a city,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So as you graduate from this class, and some people didn't graduate, some people quit. Now you're in the inner city, and now you got to sell cable to the inner city. And the thing about cable that we didn't realize was it's crack.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, they called it
It's
crack
crap.
because
Yup.
everybody wants cable. They don't want the antennas. So they would tell us in these classes that you selling what people want. So they tell you get this gear. They don't give. Only thing they gave us was a jacket, a flashlight, and a hat, and a
Nah,
cord.
nah. The tool belt. The
Oh, I
tool
forgot the tool
belt.
belt. Yes, and the tool belt. Yes, and the tools, and the one tool that
Yeah.
everybody wants. To this day,
Yes.
everybody wants it, but you're like, bruh, it's digital now. You can't even use it.
Yeah. Right.
But we will go on the side of these houses. Now, this was what's smart about what we did, and this is as we go along with this story, you'll understand that this is your business, right? And being a tech freelancer, which that's what I'm trying to, broadcast out to everybody, that you could do anything if you put your mind to it
Yes.
and, think about it, right? But what they would do or teach us was, Chapo, you hit the front door, I'm gonna go to the side of the house. When I go to the side of the house, either they're gonna come out the door and ask you what you want, or two, they're not. You gonna knock and you gonna hear that TV, right? Now they give before we do this, they're giving us a sheet of paper of everybody who does not have cable in
Yes.
the area. You're in once again, you're in the inner city. You might be in the projects, you might be in the neighborhood. Who
Yeah.
knows where you're gonna be at when they give you this sheet?
This,
Each one.
this, this particular this particular situation, we were
Oh,
in the
we had several
process.
situations. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? We had
Yeah.
several
You're
situations.
right. You're right.
I mean, not just the projects. We had several situations. What are you talking about?
You're right. You're right.
So this situation I'm telling you, well, it was actually two because we did. I think we set it up twice. Where
Yeah.
so the first time, Chapo would hit the front door, and then I would go to the side. If they didn't come out, then I would. We had this little TV we would carry around. If you plug the TV in and it got cable, then this person's got cable. But soon as you plug it in, give it about 2 minutes. 2 minutes, that door is gonna open up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was the first thing you did, Chapo?
Oh man, hold on. I'm trying to think. Was this down in the
No,
old
that's the
man?
second one. I'm gonna tell the second one.
Okay. You talking about the one when we went back the second time?
No, that's the second story.
Okay. You see. That's what I'm saying. I don't know which one it is.
Well, the way I'm gonna set it up. So I would go on the side. Chapo would sit there and wait because he already knocked on
Yes.
the door.
Yep. Yep.
You already
Yep.
knocked on the door. You didn't come out. We hear the
Yeah.
TV. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh.
okay, now you coming out. What the hell you want?
Yeah.
Well, we see that you have cable. Would you like cable? No,
Yes.
get out my door. They slam the door.
Boom. Yep.
Give it about 5 minutes. You get in the car. Hello? Oh, I forgot. They did give us a cell phone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Hello? Hey, you were just at my house. Can you turn my cable back on? Like,
Yeah.
okay. Now, like I said, it's like your business or what you're doing. It's,
Yes.
they want what you have if you can actually
Yeah.
sell it to them right. And we didn't
Yes.
realize that being, I want to say what? How old were we? Like,
I was 20. I was like 20. 22, 23.
So I'm like 30. I was probably like
Yeah,
30, somewhere around there. No, because Trey was, yeah, no, I was probably around like, yeah, just turning 30, somewhere around there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Because yeah. 'Cause how old are you now?
48.
48. So yeah, I'm 10 years younger than you are.
Yeah, so yeah, so I was about 30 something, like 30,
Yeah,
around 30 something. Yeah,
32.
yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere around there. Yeah, so you didn't realize what you were doing at this age. You
yeah,
just trying to make a hustle. But the
yes,
thing, what we started learning about the situation, this wasn't the first time we had to do this. We had to do it several times. We even caught people, you know, hate to say it, we looked in the back window and they they got TV going. I'm not gonna say
yeah,
everything else they were doing, but as soon as you turn
yeah,
that TV off, they were putting their clothes back on, running out the
yeah,
door, chasing us, shooting at us. I
yeah,
mean, but they would
yeah,
call us the next day and say, "Hey, man, I apologize. I can you help me with the cable?" Okay, well, it's
yeah.
just like your business. The business that you're doing. You give people what they want, they're gonna come back to you. So,
Exactly,
with me having
exactly.
this show, Chapo was one of those guys that called me up and said, "Hey, can you help me?" And I gave him
Yeah,
some advice that I had down here in Florida, but he took it and ran with it. So
yeah.
as we talking, Chapo, tell everybody what Eyesight Media is.
Shoot, it's very interesting, man. Like how life works because when how I was telling you, my first camera was a Canon Rebel T3i.
Right.
So I started shooting videos with it. My rap career was coming to an end at that point. So I started switching over to more to photography. So I would just start taking pictures and being like, oh man, this is dope. But looking back on it, them photos were trash, right? But what that did do was it developed a love of the art. I already love the art on the musical side of things, right? So to kind of fast forward things, anytime I take these pictures, I started watermarking the pictures, and I watermarked them eyesight, and at that time it was like EYESIGHT, right? I started tag. Actually, I'm sorry, it was actually I dash site, and the reason I did that was because I was thinking at the time I was like, it's my site, like eyesight, it's my site. So this is what I'm seeing. These pictures, what I'm seeing. So um, that's what eyesight media is. But where eyesight media really blossomed was I was working at Citibank at the time back in 2018. My daughter, it was December. Let's see, it was December. My daughter had just been born like a month ago, and I was on paternity leave. I got 2 months off, right? So I'm holding my daughter in my arms, right, just holding her like this, and it's like 1 a.m. My wife's sleeping for like 2 hours. I'm playing Xbox. I'm playing Call of Duty World at War,
Right.
right? And I remember, I don't know if we can cuss here. Are we able to
Yeah,
cuss?
you can
Because
cuss, man. You can cuss.
it's the real. What I really said is, I'm holding my daughter. I'm playing this World at War game, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my time?
Right.
I said, what am I doing with my time? I'm not happy at my job. I don't feel like I'm making enough money at my job.
Mm-hmm.
How can I provide for my family a little bit more, and then maybe even eventually make it something that I do full time, something that I love to do,
Right.
Because the prior year, bro, I remember waking up, getting up out of bed every morning. I'm no kidding. My alarm would go off at 5:30 in the morning. I'd turn over, get off the bed, put my feet on the floor, and just be like, I got to do this for like 30 more years. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
like, I can't do this for 30 more years, man. Like, I'm going to lose my mind. So that's what I was thinking about when I was holding my daughter, trying to think up of ways to create something
Right.
that I love. So I started thinking, man, I'm like, man, I love photography. I love videos. Like, I really love that. If I could do that all the time, that would be just the greatest thing in the world.
And
So,
I remember that because I remember you calling me. We were still
yeah,
staying in contact, and you would call me like, because I think you were at Fifth Third or somewhere like that, and you were calling me back. You
It
know, you
yeah,
back at
it was Citibank. I
Citibank.
remember it was
Okay.
Citibank. Yeah,
And I remember you
yep,
going through the situations, and then you were like, "Man, I'm
yep,
about to leave this job to go to another job." And I
yep,
remember that.
yeah,
And then you were
yeah.
like, "Man, what can you tell me, or what can you help
That's
me with?" And
that's what
at
I was
first,
gonna
I'm
say.
like, "Bro, I'm I'm
Yeah,
trying to get it too." I mean, I
yeah,
didn't know at the time that you were in that transition, but I knew
yeah,
something was wrong because normally we would talk here and there after we stopped
yep,
working at the cable company, but it'd be
yeah,
more like, "Hey man, how you doing? Hey."
yep,
And we had another friend that we met while we were doing cable who actually got shot,
yeah,
Mark. And
yeah,
that's what really, that was another situation we had where we were getting friends with some of the customers as well. And they were
yeah,
helping us get leads, which goes
yeah.
back to, back to the
Back
business.
to
You
back to the
always use
business.
friends
Yeah.
and family for your leads,
Yup, yup.
and
You you know the messed up part about that Mark situation was that you know how we used to hang out at
yeah,
his crib all the time, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking like, what if we'd have been there that one time that it happened?
I always thought that. I always
You
thought
know?
that, especially after I get off work or we get off work and Mark be like, "Hey man, come on through. I'll go get
Yeah,
Trey and we'll come over there play." He played with his little sons, and
yeah,
it's like, wow, man, just that situation at those times. Because it's another
yeah,
situation for me where my cousin got killed, and that was the same situation where we could have been there when that happened. But
yeah,
that to
yeah,
this day still
yeah.
resonate in my mind. Like, man,
Me
what if
too.
yeah,
Yeah. We could have been collateral damage, you know what I'm
right.
saying?
Especially the
Yeah.
way, but I don't know. We were the cable man because everybody loved us.
Yeah, but I feel like in the situation that he was in,
Right,
we were we don't want eyewitnesses. You know what
right,
I'm
exactly, exactly,
saying?
exactly. That is
Yeah,
true.
for
That is
sure.
true. But
No, but you know what's crazy is not crazy is I always love this story because I must have sounded like a crackhead when I called you first of all because I was popping off with these ideas at you, right? But that the night that I was holding my daughter, I created my business name. I created a Facebook. I didn't have any content. I was just like, I gotta start this. You know, I had to create the juices flowing.
right,
I looked up how much it was gonna be to start this whole thing. Um, and then the next day, it was like that next morning when my wife finally woke up, I like hit her with all this information. Like I just like dropped it on her, and I remember her looking at me like yo, because I didn't sleep. You know what I'm saying? I didn't
right.
sleep at all. So,
But I mean,
but
when you
anyways,
called me, I mean, I knew something was. I don't want to say something was wrong, but I knew that you wanted that information to feed because that's how we
yeah,
always. Even when we first met, we were always
yeah,
like that. Where, hey man, I know we got this to do tonight, but let's go, hang out or go, let's
yeah,
go do
yeah,
something. But we were
yeah,
always like that, always talking and business strategies and different things like that,
yeah,
even back then. So when you
yeah,
called me, like I said, it was you just like a brother to me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because the situations we've been in, but
fast.
in the same aspect, I wanted to see you grow.
Yeah.
Because
You know, one of the things I appreciated about you was when I reached out to you, and it's not even just in that situation, but it was really also throughout our friendship,
right,
is you always kept it real, even if it's not something like I want to hear. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So like when I came to you because I knew that you give me the truth. Be like, hey, this is really what it is versus like trying to gas me up, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So like I left our conversation being like, all right, I trust Carl when he says this, so I'm not gonna do this thing. But maybe this particular thing did work in this area because there's like you said, there was just too many people there, right?
right. It was for
For your
everybody.
particular yeah, for your particular situation. But for me, I was like, there's no one doing this right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try to pursue this. But I truly do like hands down to this day appreciate that conversation we had because
Mm-hmm.
that conversation was so solid and was kind of like a foundation of what I am now.
Right,
You know?
right. And it helped both of us really, because then you were like, hey man, if I find something in the website design or whatever, I'm gonna slide it to you, and you've done that as
Yeah.
well. But like I said,
Yes.
we've always been solid with each other. But it
Yes.
goes back to what you were saying. For me, when I started doing my media thing, I still have my regular 9 to 5. And
Yeah.
like I
Yep.
told you, I'm not trying to leave my 9 to 5 because I want the insurance, I want the stability, especially being down here in Florida. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
sure.
The early part of Florida, I don't have no family. You
Yeah.
know, it's just me and Trey. But
Yeah.
when we talked about it, I was like, hey man, I'm in a housing market. And at the time, I was the only person flying drones. I was the only
Yeah.
person who actually had a waiver at the time, which was hard to get when it first came out. But I had a
Yeah.
waiver, so I didn't have to get a license.
Yeah.
Then you had to compete with the other realtors and their groups of people they had and the rules. And then you get one realtor, they're good, and then down there with this agency, and this agency has their own person that they fly
Yeah.
in, and it's like, hold
Yeah.
on, time's out. This is the first I've
Yeah.
heard that, and, you know, different things like that. Because
Yeah.
I hate to say it, it's like a lot of stuff that I've done in the tech field or in any industry that had to do with something techie. I felt like I was the
Yeah.
first person to touch ground on that, you
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
And with the drone stuff, it was easy peasy. But when they start saying, hey, you gotta get this, you gotta get that, you gotta go to all these classes and all the, you know, and I should have done it once my waiver went down. But the problem
Yeah.
here was the housing market was such a boom that you had people that wanted to, instead of you getting paid $200, now they trying to, you know, say $50. Like, man, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know what the industry is now here. But you know, I know we talked about it with the Cincinnati area. So
Yeah.
so how did you overcome, you know, the different styles of issues that came across?
Well, when I first, like, before I even, let's go back to like my first client, right?
Okay.
The way I got my first client was I cold called a bunch of realtors at the beginning of everything, because I was like, look, I really wanted to, when I started out, I really wanted to be in the high school, like, athlete area, to provide video content for them to be able to use for the next level. You know what
Right.
I'm
That's what
saying?
I was doing. I told you that one too. Yep. I remember.
Yeah, and that shit didn't pan out, bro. Like, it
Right.
didn't pan out. So what I did, I started doing research about other video ideas, and that's when I stumbled across on YouTube real estate videos, right? And that's shit that was being done on the West Coast. You know, it was down in Florida, just different parts of the country, but it wasn't being done here.
Right.
And so I was like, oh shit, let me try to jump on this before it becomes a thing, because it's going to become the thing.
Right.
And so cold call realtors, all the realtors were still in the mindset of, oh no, we're good with pictures, man, we're good with pictures, we don't need anything else. Until I finally got one realtor to allow me to do the work pro bono, and it from there it took off, because then it opened up the doors for other realtors seeing the work and be like, oh shoot, I want that. What's this? And so I was legitimately like one of the maybe one or two people that were doing real estate videos, but I was doing it in a completely different
Right.
way. It was like the whole MTV crib style, right?
Right. Right.
The other stuff that I was seeing was the typical, like, classical music with a camera on a slider
Yep.
going from one room to the next, or going up, just the typical boring ass real estate videos. I brought in that, like, that hip hop vibe
Yep.
into this area. Well, to fast forward, once you create something like that, you create a lane, there's going to be people stepping into that lane
Right.
as well,
Exactly.
right? They're going to step into that lane, and they're going to undercut you.
Yep.
They're gonna say, hey, I can do the same thing, but just for half the
And I
price.
remember telling you that you were like, man, that's don't you
Yeah,
got to tell me that
yeah,
cake, man. I was
yeah,
like, okay, man, I'm just
yeah,
telling you what's going to
yeah,
happen. So
yeah,
just be
yeah.
prepared. You kept
You're right.
saying, oh, I got this, man. I'm the only, oh, it's only me and this other guy. I'm just
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah,
be prepared, because when that shift comes, you got to be
yeah.
able to pivot.
And absolutely, like, I was an knucklehead, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit arrogant about it,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, at the time. But definitely looking back, I knew it was coming, right? I knew that there was going to be competition that was going to come, and I needed to prepare for that.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2020, my real estate side of the business just exploded, bro. It just exploded. Like I was doing, on average, I was doing probably 4 to 5 listings a day,
Mm.
right? And at
Hold
that
on,
point in
time's out.
time,
Time's out. We gotta stop.
yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna give you applause for that. But we gotta hold on. How I gotta say this. How long have you been in business?
5 years. It just 5 years. Just December 5 years, bro.
Hey man,
Yeah,
because the way we talking like we just started this last year, but you've been
you
doing this for
right.
5 years. And
five
now I
years.
think about it, it's like because when I saw that, I'm like, man, it's been that
Yeah,
long.
it's
Like
been that long.
I'm like,
Yeah,
wow. Because I, like I said, it
yeah,
was just like yesterday. You called me. I think it was like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And my
yeah. I
fiance,
was tripping. Yeah,
we were dating at the, well, we've been past dating. But anyway,
yeah,
she was like, who's that? I said, that's my boy Chapo. Hold on.
yeah,
Let me see what's wrong with him. But,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
man, I'm going to give you grats on being 5 years because, most businesses don't even last that long.
I know. I am every day. I don't typically say I'm blessed, but I am blessed in this situation because
Especially for
five
media
years.
companies on top of that.
Yes, because 5 years is kind of like that point. Like if you can make it to 5 years, you have a better probability of surviving
Right,
long term, right?
right.
So it was always to me in the back of my head that like that 5 year mark, like okay, I'm at year two, I'm still doing okay. Year three, I'm at year five now, and it's like it's kind of crazy, man. Because at year five now, I'm starting to move into different areas where I'm like, holy shit, this is what consistency brings you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So like I was saying, like in even leading up to this in 2020, my real estate business exploded, and that around that time, I realized, going back to your word, I realized I was like, I need to pivot. I need to pivot. I
Mm-hmm.
need to make a plan here because this is not sustainable, right?
Right,
I was like, this is cool now, but this shit is not sustainable, and then there's going to be competition coming into the market now even more.
right.
So that's exactly what happened. So in 2020, even though I was like busy with real estate, I was starting to put my eggs into different baskets, video wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of real estate, I was now like, okay, let me get into construction. Let me get into weddings. Let me get into this. Like, I didn't even really like weddings, but I'm like, hey, I need to start, putting my fingertips in every area right now so that when the real estate market turns around or competition steps in more, I'm doing other stuff,
Right.
right? And so now in 2024, it was more even in 2023, I've done less real estate and I've done more larger projects with larger companies, having more of a retainer
Mm-hmm.
versus per job, right?
Right.
And so that is the pivot that I made in 2020. Even though people didn't see because all they saw was real estate, I was actually in the background doing other shit to prepare for now. Because right now, there's especially I think all over the country, there's just not enough. There's not enough homes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's not enough homes. Um, there's no work for
Right. No, I didn't
for
think about that. That's true.
you know what I'm saying. So even though some people may look at it like, man, I hope Chapo's okay. Like, I don't see that much real estate. One, I don't share as much of my real estate stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But two, I'm doing a whole lot less of it because I don't have the same amount of time as I once did. I'd rather do a couple things a month versus 26 things a month.
Right. Now,
You
how
know.
with because I know in my days, you do your filming, that can, you do your shoot, that might be 1, 2 days. Then your
Yeah.
editing is, man, can be weeks depending on how
Yeah.
much film you have. Now,
Yeah.
how are you managing that with the family? Because I know that's one thing, you know, being in this
And,
industry, tech or any industry, is trying to
uh,
work life balance. So, how did you cope with that? start now?
Carmen, that's a great question, man. That's a really good question. I feel like anybody starting out needs to hear like people like me, entrepreneurs talk about this more often because I feel like entrepreneurs spend too much time talking about the grind of getting here and the excitement of this and this and that, but they don't ever talk about their relationship at home, right?
Yeah.
Because to be honest, my marriage almost ended
Mm.
starting business, right? My marriage almost ended because of my business. And while in that moment of like being excited about my business, like I was excited because things were happening. I was doing a lot of work. I was excited. I was always telling my wife, hey, look, oh my gosh, look, just boom, 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 whoopsie, whoop, whoop. But I was missing time with her. And I
Mm-hmm.
was missing time with my kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't understanding at the time because she'd be like, you're missing time with your family. And I'd be like, all I ever try to do is actually get home to you guys, but I'm trying to do this to better our future.
Right.
And so it was like this constant, our heads were like this because she was like, you're missing time with the family. And I'm over here like, I'm actually over here trying to provide for the family.
Right.
I'm trying to provide for the family. That's all I'm trying to do. I love you guys so much.
Mm-hmm.
And learning a work-life balance is important, super important.
Right.
It took me probably 2 years of business ownership to really finally find that balance, man. And that balance, I'm a workaholic, man.
We both are.
Like, I mean, it doesn't feel like work to me, right?
Right.
Like, I'll come in at 7 in the morning and it'll be like 2 o'clock, and I'll be like, man, God, the day's almost over. Like that's how I
Mm-hmm.
feel because I'm passionate about what I
Right.
do, right? So, I used to always take my computer home. I always would take my computer home. I'm like, I need to try to get shit knocked out. I need to constantly finding anything. If I'm not doing anything, I need to be working.
Right.
Well, that's what I stopped doing.
Yeah.
I, 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 I leave everything in my office. Like as soon as I'm done for the day, I don't bring anything home anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is the most. That's what I could, if I could give any type of like advice to any new entrepreneur is leave your work at work.
Yeah.
And when you're at home, be home and be present. Because I wasn't. I'd always take phone calls, business calls. That's all throughout the day. I was always available for my business, but I wasn't available for my family.
Yeah. 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 So the next question, I know people probably, man, what are you shooting with? What equipment are you using?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. That's a great question. So you know how I started with the Rebel
Right.
T3i.
Right.
And you remember when I hit you up?
Yeah.
There's a theme here, bro. There's a theme here.
Hey, but I told you I was a Canon man, either Canon or
Yeah,
the GH.
yeah,
At the
yeah,
time, GH
yeah,
was the one that was rocking the bells because they were
yeah,
the 4K, and
yeah.
most cameras didn't have it at the time.
No, and that's the thing is, you see, I hate the question now when people come to me, like new people coming in trying to film stuff. They're like, "Hey, what kind of
Yeah.
camera do you recommend?" I can probably understand you now. Like, I understand where you were at when I asked you that question because you're like, oh, God damn it, here we go again, right? Because cameras it's all about what you're comfortable with,
Correct.
right? It's about what you're comfortable with because whatever you're comfortable with, you're going to make the best product with that. If you're not comfortable with it, you're not going to make a great product with it,
Right.
right? So you recommended the GH5. I bought it. I personally didn't like it, but that doesn't mean you gave me bad information. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's just I personally it didn't. I didn't like how it felt in my hand. I didn't like the menu options. It felt very. My brain was completely confused. So
Especially coming
so
from a Canon.
it kept coming from Canada. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was completely lost, right? And so I actually made the jump to Sony, and that was a little bit of a that was a I had to kind of switch my thought process
Right.
with Sony as well. But now that I understand Sony, It's like, it's like the back of my
Yeah,
hand,
no
bro.
doubt. Yeah, because at the
Yeah,
time when I was shooting, I had the GH3, the GH4, still had the
yeah.
Canon. I still had the Canon. What was it, 80? The T80,
The
somewhere in there. I can't remember
80D,
what
was
it
it
was.
the 80D?
Yeah. So I had
Yeah,
that one, but it was just that GH4 was just so small grip, and
yeah,
at the time was like, okay, I can shoot with this because I can sneak
yeah.
it. Because with me, the way I was doing music videos and clubs and different things like that, I need something small that I could sneak in the club, sneak out without nobody knowing, or I'm with whoever artist is famous. They didn't know, I'm sitting there got the camera on them. They
Yeah,
running town talking, but didn't
yeah.
say anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I used. But the thing about Sony at the time was they were still behind with some of the technology they had with they still
Yeah,
had the big HD cards and the different things,
yes,
or their special card, excuse me, their special card that you had
yeah,
to get with their camera. And at the time, I
yeah,
was like, man, I can't deal with that because now I gotta switch everything over to Sony, and now
yeah.
nothing I have for Canons fitting with this camera, and But it's like you said, it's your preference of what you're working with.
It's
But
absolutely impressive.
you got to stay with the technology because once one technology goes out and they can't switch with the other one, you just lost money. You're gonna have to put on eBay.
Exactly, exactly.
You,
And that's the thing is, I progressively have grown my my arsenal, I'll call it, right?
yeah,
So when I switched to Sony, I switched it was the A7 III, and I was rocking that for a minute, just that one camera, and I was shooting projects with the Sony and then a Canon 80D. And you know how hard that was, like color
yeah,
grading.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And then trying to match it and try to color correct it the same. And
yes,
yes,
yes.
that
That
was a
was
big
that was tough. So
yeah.
that's why I finally was like, yo, I need to get a second A7 III. So I bought a second A7 III. And so for a while, I was shooting with two A7 IIIs and
Hmm.
then the one ADD still, right?
Right.
So finally, I recently upgraded to the FX3, like the cinema line.
Okay.
So now I'm rocking with three Sony cameras. But again, we're dealing with a little bit of color profile difference again.
Right.
This is
Right.
how they get you, bro. This is how they get you.
Right.
You get one, and then you got to
Get the
get the
other one.
next. You just
Yep. So
got to keep on.
so what's your business? This is another good question. It's a good question, but it's one of those questions like what type of advertising? I know you were using, the customers that you had to help you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what advertising are you doing? Are you doing like social media? What's your strategy on that?
So it's really interesting, man. So since I'm a one man, like I'm about to be a two man band here soon.
Right, I remember you saying that.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm a one man band right now, one and a half. Let's say one and a half. I used to have an editor. I don't anymore. And that when I had an editor, it was amazing, right? Because I could I could do a bunch of listenings a day and be like, all right, I got someone editing this, so I could pick up more work,
Mm-hmm.
right? So to kind of answer your question though about advertising is I legit don't do any social media advertising.
Mm.
Like I don't pay for any ads. I don't do any targeted ads or anything like that.
Okay.
Which I know that I need to do that, but I don't have the manpower right now, right?
Okay. Understand.
So right now I'm in a position where I'm working my business. So my advertising is just putting my work on social media, right? People see it and it's there. So they go, oh, damn, I really like that. Who did that? So a lot of my business is repeat business and
Okay.
also word of mouth, man. It's crazy how far just going back to the cable business, man. Like, what
Yeah,
did the teachers do? It taught us how to talk to people, right?
that's true.
And build a relationship fast.
Yeah.
Because that's what you have to do in the case. When you're knocking on someone's door, you don't have much time before they want to close that door in your face.
Exactly.
Right. So what it taught me, what I took from cable is I took that is learning how to build a relationship quickly.
Hmm.
And I don't mean and I don't mean that in uh, like uh, like a less meaningful way. Like I'm not saying I try to build these quick relationships to gain something.
Right.
It's just I'm saying I've learned when I'm trying to have like build a genuine relationship. I now know how to build a genuine relationship quicker,
Right.
right? and a good, solid business relationship has been something that I was always passionate about. I always said, Abigail, my wife's name's Abigail, she'd always said, man, you're always available for your clients. You're always like trying to do things as fast as you can for them. And I was like, that's customer service, right? And I learned customer service from being at Citibank when I used to be on the phones, right? Is people want, when they call and they want things done right then, right now, right then. And if you can do that for them, they're happy as hell, and they want to sing high praises to your manager, right? So I took the cable game of building relationships real quick, and then I took the customer service game that I learned, and that's how I incorporated that into my business, to where when people are with me, they usually stick with me, right? Because they know, hey, if I have any issue, Tchapo will answer his phone.
Right. Okay.
You know, and that's why I've always said I don't ever really want to be some corporate giant. I just want to do what I love and not have to have a bunch of lawyers to protect me. You know what I'm saying?
I do, but I rather have that, bro. I rather have that. You know what I'm saying? Just in case, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what's next for you, man? What's next for you?
Well, I feel like I need kind of. This isn't really a gem. I feel like this is something that it's already out there. I'm starting to incorporate it more into my business. Is, bro, how many subscriptions do you think you have?
Too many.
Yeah,
Way too many.
Like, you know how many times I'll be looking at my bank account and I'll be like, damn, this subscription pulled out of my account this month. That was like $150. You know what I'm saying? So what I've really started trying to push my business towards more is subscription based. So instead of someone coming to me saying, "Oh, we want to do this," this business coming to me, "We want to do this video for marketing, and we want blah 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 blah." I'll talk to them about their idea, whatever it is, but then I'll also pitch them like, "Hey, okay, this is how much it would cost for this one video, right?" So let's just say hypothetically, I'm like, "Oh yeah, this video here is going to cost you about $8,000. I was like, well, you know what? That's one video, and then you can let that run for however long. If you use that for a year, that's what it is. That's that one video." I was like, but hey, if you're interested, I actually have this subscription program to where it's continuous content every month. If you have anything evolving in your business, you know what I'm saying? You can keep people updated continuously on an ongoing basis. You're always going to have new content to kind of throw out there versus sharing that same one video over and over, right? So be like, hey, instead of paying this $8K for this one, I don't know what your budget is, but whatever your budget is, we can basically create a package for your budget. So if your budget is, oh, we can afford $5K a month. Okay, well, this is what we can afford.
Okay.
This is what we can create for you at $5K a month, and it's always going to be new, ongoing content.
Okay.
And I feel like more businesses are going towards that with the fact that you got every business on Instagram, on Facebook, and they always want new stuff. You know what I mean? We're past the days of the commercials like, "Hi, my name is Jim Walters, and I sell roofing products. If you need roofing products, call da 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 da, and we'll take care of you. Have a great day."
Right.
People are gonna be like, bye. People want to be entertained first. If
That's,
you can
that's the thing. We talked about it last week or this week. We talked about how people want to be entertained. Especially with the, I was telling you what I was trying to do, which I had to pivot. I had to pivot because it was just the whole point of this tech freelancer thing was something that's always, even when we were back working together, was something that was always, like you said, Carl was that guy that always was honest and pointed me to the right direction.
Yeah.
And me being an IT director, project manager, network guys, system admin, senior system admin, I was always that coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The big brother coaching up somebody who was younger or was in the help desk or wherever they were where they were at in their career. But
Yeah.
you know, that's one thing we got to look at is, you know, what we were talking about. Everybody wants to be funny, but in the same aspect is what can we do today to help you get where you need to go, you know?
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff that I was seeing, I wanted to do was call out these people who were scamming, you know, on the tech side. But
Yeah.
after really looking at it, man, that's some hard work and a lot of
Oh yeah.
time. And trying to do
Yeah.
that with a 9 to 5,
Yeah. Oh.
so I had to pivot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said, the social media thing, I could be funny. I know you guys probably seen some of the clips of me acting like we're, you know, I'm on the phone doing support, things that we ran into. I still want to do a cable skit,
Yeah. Yeah. We
especially with
gotta do that.
the old Green Beret. If y'all would have met that guy, boy, some things he would say in those meetings, man, y'all be like,
Yeah.
what?
Hey, do you remember that man? They said that he was on that one character on that one show was based off of him.
Yeah, I
Remember
tell
that?
everybody that when I bring him up, it was
What show was that? Because it had the Allstate man in it.
yeah, he was the Allstate man. What was that? I
What
forgot
was
that
it?
show.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's going because
It's not on
I try to
TV.
find the book. You know, because he actually co-written a book about his time being. I think he was a POW and he was a POW. He got free, went back,
Yeah.
and something else happened. Came back again. It was something crazy. Like
It was
what?
a crazy story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Dude was, and he passed away. I think he passed away a couple years ago. But he was,
Did he?
yeah. But he was an interesting guy, man. He was a very
I mean,
interesting guy.
I'm not gonna lie. He was always kind to me. You know what I mean? He
He
was
was
always
always, yeah,
kind.
man. He was the nicest guy, and would teach you the ropes on everything. And that's how
Everything.
I felt. You know, once I was always riding. Now he had the crazy van, the stranger danger van.
The white van with the window.
Yeah, the stranger
Yeah.
danger van.
Yeah.
He'll pull up in it. Hey, what you guys doing?
Yeah.
It's like
Now,
what?
he had that. You remember how he had that deep, slow voice, like, "What y'all doing?" You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? More
that
that
country
slower.
voice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you
Yeah.
know, at the end of the day, you know, it's one of those things that, like you're saying, everybody's trying to be funny nowadays, but it's like when you come to these doing these videos and everybody wants to, you know, that, you know, rubber time mic, and I'm trying to sell
Yeah.
you this and that,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, I am what I am a little nervous about and what I am scared about because it's already happening is you see, I'm not even afraid of AI. Like, yes, people always talk about AI. Like AI is very useful for me in my editing right
Right.
now. Like the AI text-based editing, like I embrace that completely. But like what I'm nervous about now is the way that advertisements are done now on social media
Yes.
to where on Instagram to like the people that you've always trusted, like that you watch and you trust, they're now doing like they're saying things that you're like, oh my gosh, like yeah, they're right, and then you come to find out they're just advertising for this particular product, right? So what I'm saying to you is the whole influencer model.
Right.
I don't like the influencer model because what it's done is it gives people like if a business like if someone came to me right now, if someone came to me and said, we'll pay you $10 million a year to say that this one camera over here is amazing. What do you think I'm gonna do?
You gonna take that money? I don't know what you gonna. Hey, I'm taking that money. Hey, I'm gonna tell you. Hey, this is what
That's
I'm
what I'm
drinking.
saying.
You need to drink it too. If
Yeah,
it's gonna cost,
yeah,
you know, if it's putting money in my
yeah.
pocket, right?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is to
Yeah.
where like now we have we have filmmakers. We have filmmakers. I see that on a lot of at the end of that. Like, people don't want to be called videographers
Yeah,
anymore.
that's true.
You know, they're like we're filmmakers. I'm like, yeah,
You just
you
picked up a
should.
camera. That's right.
Yeah.
Now you got a million followers that I've been trying to
Right.
get because you did
Yes.
something goofy. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is these filmmakers are now. What I noticed is if you go to their pages, you're seeing less of their work. You're seeing more of their skits.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like I'll go to a person's page and I'm like, oh man, like this is kind of a funny skit, but I also like the quality of this video, right? It looks pretty good. But then you go to their page and it's nothing but reels that like are, the reels where they have the voice of some other thing and they're reading that voice. And instead of showing their work anymore, they're now having to spend time creating reels.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're doing. And
But
that's
what do you think?
that's
What do you think about that? With the whole everything's turning into because I think we talked about this too. That people's minds don't last more than 2-3 seconds, right? But now everything's turned into reels because of TikTok. So how do you feel about that being what you do? Because now you got to think of stuff to catch people's eyes, their attention, different things like that because of shorts and because of reels. Because they're only so small and so quick. How do you work with that?
Well, I guess I would say I'm old school, and I'm gonna be this way the rest of my life.
Okay.
Even though I do change I do evolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
I make sure that I keep evolving, but while I'm evolving, I'm staying true to myself.
Got
I'm
you.
staying true to myself, right? Because if I don't, then why am I doing this?
Right.
But so with the whole TikTok era, to where you got videos sometimes that are like 4 seconds, right? And I'm like, how did you guys even grasp all that in those 4 seconds? Like, what am I supposed to be grasping here? So, for example, I'll give you the ones that I really hate, and I'll kind of talk about how I've kind of dealt with that. Is you ever see those reels where it's a photographer and it's maybe like 10 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and then they flash like a bunch of the pictures in those 10 seconds?
Yep.
And that's the reel?
Yeah. I see those.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I can't even see your work. Like you're not giving me any time to really take a moment to dive in, dissect your the way you frame this photo. Like, oh my gosh, this is really amazing. But instead, you're being hit with a bunch of just images to match to a beat that's really popular, so you can get a million views.
Right.
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 So we're getting away, and what I don't like is we're getting away from people making products that tell a story. Like, if you're given a minute and a half, you can usually tell a good story, right? Even 30 seconds. But when you only have 5 seconds or 3 seconds to grab someone's attention, our future generations are going to be in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I mean, they're taking books out of school. They don't do cursive. It's already messed up.
Yeah.
So,
It's very interesting because me and you come from the era of, and I'm gonna sound like that old person, but like legitimately like hard work. Like we I feel like our generation, especially mine. I know you're 10 years older than me. I'm a millennial, but I feel like we're kind of like that last generation of working hard, right?
I think it was more of our parents too. Our parents pushed us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. So now we got a generation of kids that they work hard also. Like they're dealing with a lot more shit that we had to deal with, right? That's for sure. But could you imagine if we could have gotten paid millions of dollars to just open up?
I think about that all the time with football, man. Because these kids are getting, even though they're getting a scholarship, they get money. We had to get permission to work a job. Just to get paid. We had to get a permission. And on top of that, you can only make so much or you get your scholarship taken away.
Yes.
And so it's like, I would like to reap from that benefit because I was on several video games. You know what I'm saying? So can we reap from that benefit as well now that we, 40, 50 years old and can't hardly walk now and everything else? You get that, but I understand it a little bit more, but I wish we would have had that same opportunity as well, like you're saying. But when it comes to, it goes back to like the advertising and everything else. It keeps changing and changing and changing. But, we just got to figure out a way to, once again, pivot or adapt.
Pivot. And that's what I've done. Like I've now, so when I first started shooting real estate videos, um, my videos were like 4, 5 minutes long sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Like I was like, I'm showing every part of
Yep.
this house,
Yep.
right? That's how my mindset was. I was like, if someone's buying this house, I want them to see every part of this house.
Right.
But now, as social media has changed, it's made people be like, no, we only want to see a quick
Right.
reel of 10 seconds of some really cool shots of the house,
Right.
which doesn't even really show the house.
Like a music video.
Yeah, it's like a music video. That's
Yep.
all it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's where I pivoted and I evolved with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's also why I don't like real estate videos as much anymore because it's no longer about what I want to do,
Right.
more of realtors coming to me like, hey, I saw this reel that did this. We want to do something just like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
where it's like now they're asking me to watch someone else's work and do the same exact thing so they can like, get the same amount of views using the same music.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, I've lost that interest because you're hiring me to copy someone else.
Right. And you don't even
Why?
know. And the thing about it, you don't even know if I do it this way, if you're even gonna get views like that. Then they get
Exactly.
on you about that. I don't know. Like I said, me and my fiance talk a lot because she's an entrepreneur as well. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, hey, it's some stuff I know I could probably do, but it's one
yeah,
of those things. I don't know if I'm a, when I'm working with somebody with their website,
yeah,
if I'm doing
yeah,
their SEO, I can only go so far. Even though I got
yeah,
certs in SEO, I can only go so far. But it
yeah,
might be somebody else that can help them get to the finish line because they know how to do that. That's
yeah,
and that's the thing you run into because it's being a
yes,
business minded person or just having a business
yeah.
in general. How far you can get that person where they need to be without them saying, "Hey, man, you didn't give me the hits like this person."
Exactly, exactly. And that's the thing too, is like people for some reason have this mindset that like, and that's the thing that drives me crazy as well is I am a videographer, right?
Right,
I'm the artist.
right,
When you come to me, I don't market myself. There's nothing in my name that says Eyesight Media Marketing Agency,
yeah,
right? So that's what drives me crazy is when people come to me, they think that I'm their marketing person also. Like I'm the one that's supposed to market their video for them
mm-hmm,
and help them get as many views as possible.
right,
And it's like, no, you hired me to shoot your video. If you want marketing services, we can talk about that, but that's going to cost more money,
right. And I don't
right?
have the money right now because I want to invest.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
ain't
So
tell me nothing I don't know.
yeah, so like that's the thing that drives me crazy is people come through and they want you to be everything.
Right.
And it's like, no, that's not how it works. No, I am not a marketing agency. That's where honestly I kind of want to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be able to get there because I want to be able to provide everything in house. But right now, that's not where I'm at. So it is a little frustrating, as you just said.
Right.
Sometimes people are like, "Man, this video ain't really hitting. It's not getting that many views," and they blame it on.
Yeah. And that's what really pushed me. That's what really put. Man,
Well,
you got the,
okay.
the lights. Though, what's going on over here?
And
The
you know what? You
bomb?
know what? The iPhone.
Oh,
I
that's right. I
forgot.
forgot it's got those signals.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So,
Uh,
no, that was the problem. That was one of the things that really kind of got me because I was dealing with the same people like you were when I was doing videos,
yeah.
and after a while, it started being a burnout because they would come thinking I'm supposed to give them all the views. Man, this is your video. You the one that's
Yeah.
marketing it. You the one that
Yeah.
got to get it out. I can't. I'm not.
Right.
I'm just doing what you asked. I'm
Right.
gonna make. I'm have the hottest videos before everybody does. For everybody
Yeah.
else has the hot videos. I might get you hot, but you
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
one that's got to push it, not me. I'm not the marketing
Exactly.
person. I'm just
Yeah. That,
there to make you look good.
right.
So
And you know what's crazy is too is like you know some of the competition is kind of coming to this like this area.
yeah,
It's kind of crazy because man, it is extremely frustrating because marketing is not, well, marketing is this, like, if, let's say I made a video for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my marketing plan is to just share it into local Facebook groups or like groups that don't even matter. It's not even really, that's not a marketing plan,
Right.
right?
Right.
It just be like, I'm just gonna share it to a bunch of groups. That's not a marketing
And
plan.
that's what they're
Like,
doing. Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of these like marketing people, I've noticed that that's all they do. They just legitimately just share, they make a flyer, a digital flyer, and then just share it into a local group and think that's marketing.
Yep.
Like, oh, I put it out there, yep, people are gonna see it. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Like this has to be a calculated move. And I'm not a marketing expert, right?
Right.
Like I realize I'm in my car a lot. I end up listening to a lot of murder podcasts, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to murder podcasts like I'm a housewife, bro. Like, I just be like, yeah, let me get my little blanket real quick and just chill out here about this motherfucker getting
My buddy
murdered.
put me on one. He put me on one. I was like, bro, I don't know about this. It was like this.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a futuristic. I don't know the
Oh,
name
yeah.
of it. I forgot the
I'm
name
not
of it.
with that.
Yeah, man.
But nah, shit. I just lost my train of thought there. What was I saying?
Your murder podcast.
Yeah, but what was I saying? What was I talking about? What was
Oh,
I? Yeah. So I'm not a marketing specialist,
right.
so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start listening to marketing books on tape,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I can try to better figure out how I can market my business better because right now what I'm trying to pivot is to I've hit the ceiling. I've hit the ceiling with my business. I can't grow because I don't have I don't have the help around, right?
Right.
My issue for the longest of time was a control issue because I was like, this is my business.
Right.
Like, I don't want to hand this part off to this person because then they're not going to do it the way that I do it, or they might not respond to a client the way that I do.
Right.
I have to let that go in order to grow, right?
Yep. You
I
do.
have to let that go. And so that's what I'm starting to do in 2024 is relinquish some of that control and
Okay.
give it up because I can't grow any further right now and I have the ability to grow exponentially, but I just don't have the right 100% help yet.
Right. I understand.
You know.
Okay.
So
So I know it's the top of the hour.
yeah, yeah,
I want to thank you again. I want to play. I don't want to say a game, but a little short little questionnaire type. What did
yeah.
so you got to say the tech freelancer helped me with, or tech freelancer? You got to, how do I say it? You gotta. I gotta write this down. You know, I was
Yeah,
told before I start this show, you need
yeah,
to
you
write this stuff down so you don't mess it up. I said, okay,
I
yeah.
do that
I
all the
said, I got
time.
it all up in here,
Yeah,
all up in
yeah,
here,
yeah.
because teleprompters are not teleprompters is not fun, man. We've been here all day because I've been
Yeah,
messing it all up. But no, we'll do it next time because I know I want to bring you back again. But
yeah.
what's one thing or a couple of things that I did for you to help you, and then I want you to end the show on what other people can learn from your mistakes or not mistakes and different things like that.
Yeah. So definitely, you helped me out in several key areas. You know what I'm saying? Just, bro. Even going back to life, even going back to the beginning, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, me and you were broke as shit together, man. Like helping each other out with, like, hey, bro, I'll drive this day because I
Right.
know that
Yep.
you got more gas than I do. That's just from right there at that beginning.
Yeah.
That was a solid foundation of a good relationship right
Mm-hmm.
there because I knew I could trust you. Like you had my back when I needed it. I had your back when you needed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so even coming into the business side of stuff, bro, like I always have come to you when it's like, all right, what do you think about this? So when I started my business, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, Carl. I see that you're doing this. Let me pick your brain. What did you do? What did you not do? What would you recommend doing? What type of equipment would you get? Like I ran through everything with
Yeah.
you,
You did.
and I walked away from my conversation feeling confident about the next moves that I was going to make.
Yeah.
So anybody that anybody that would be coming to you for any type of advice or business, I'd be like, yo, strap up, listen up, because you're gonna walk away with a wealth of information that's gonna help whatever you're trying to do.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the other questions like
So
do's
like,
and
what mistakes or things that people can stop, that you ran into that you can be like, hey, this is something that you can really take advice of. Either mistakes or no mistakes, just advice
yeah,
from you.
yeah. My first mistakes, bro, not having contracts.
Yes.
Make
Yes.
sure you have contracts. No matter, it doesn't even matter if they're your best friend. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Make sure there's paperwork, contracts. Because I've been burned several times at the beginning of my business to where I started these big projects, no contracts, and then I put in however many hours, and then they decided that they weren't going to pursue that avenue, and then they didn't pay me.
Mm-mm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like contracts are important. That's one of the first mistakes, and then two, um, buying equipment just to be like I'm new and hip, right? Don't do that. I made that mistake with a few purchases that I made that I don't even use. I was just like, ah, hell yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah.
look, I'm a stun on these motherfuckers, right?
Yep.
That's how I was thinking, right? Look at this new shit. Don't do that because you're wasting valuable money, especially in your early days
Mm-hmm.
of whatever you're doing. And then three, actually three and four are kind of the same thing, like consistency. Be consistent. Be consistent. Just even if it doesn't feel like nothing's happening, you're building up momentum. Just be consistent. Don't stop doing whatever you're doing. Keep going at it because, like we said at the beginning, I'm in my 5th year and I feel like I'm just getting started. Like people will be like, "Dude, bro, you're out there killing it." And I'm like, I don't really think I'm killing it yet, just yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting my footing. And then consistency, and then two, with your clients, make sure that you are true to your word with your client because your word is everything. If you mess that up, that's going to ruin your reputation.
Right.
So if that means even if you got to take a loss on the money side of things to make sure that something's completed correctly for your client, you do that because they're going to remember that. Like, be true to your client. If you tell them you're going to do something and you're like, hey, I'll get it to you tomorrow morning, and then you realize, oh shit, you got 3 kids soccer game in the evening, and then you got dinner with the family, and then you got to be up at 6 a.m. Well, you got to figure out between that time that shit's done and 6 a.m. to make sure that you complete what you said you're going to
Yeah.
complete for your clients.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
So
that's what I
drop
would.
so drop all your social media, all your information, and then
Yes.
we can get out of here.
All right, so you can follow me at on Instagram at isi wow ISIGHT_media. You know how mad I was when I was doing like the Instagram and somebody already had that, and I was like, I
Yeah,
gotta put
remember
an
I
underscore.
told you that about the website because you were like, "Okay, man, come on, man, I gotta have my website." Like, come on,
Yeah,
make sure it's there
yeah.
before you start all your
Yeah, I
business.
know, I know. Now I got a dash in my everything, right? So that's again, Instagram is eyesight_media, and then Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com/content god. That's God GAWD. And then you can also find me on my website, i-sitemedia.com.
Hey, man, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, and I
Yes,
appreciate you,
man.
man, for being
Uh,
my first guest. Um,
yes.
hey, it's Tchapo Long, tech
Hey,
freelancer, Carl Moore Jr. signing out.
thank you, bro. See y'all.